Hi guys, welcome back. Chapter 2, Practicing Hackers Tools Part 1.3. So in this video we're going to see all about that Nmap tool. So if you guys missed this Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, there are 4 videos on Chapter 1 and then Chapter 2 got 2 videos. Okay, so please go and watch to get better understand. What is Nmap? Nmap, in short, Network Mapper, is a free open source tool that is available under GNU, General Public License, as published by the Free Software Foundation. It is most often used by network administrator and IT security professional to scan enterprise networks looking for live hosts, specific services or specific operating systems. But nowadays the small company also are using the Nmap offers many additional features. The port scanning and host and port discovery, operating systems detections, service version detections, network informations about targets such as DNS names, device types and MAC addresses, and ability to scan for well-known vulnerabilities. So let's see these one by one. So let's check these Nmap versions first. So here you guys can see, so Nmap versions, you can use these latest versions. Okay, and then first we can see the official website of nmap.org offers a machines that can be scanned to help people learn about Nmap. So it is available at scanme.nmap.org. To scan the machines with default setting, you can simply run nmap scanme.nmap.org. So for that, okay, let's enter. So it takes few seconds. So as you can see the output here, so Nmap provide a report indicating which ports are open on scanme.nmap.org. For example, the port 22 TCP open SSH. So it indicates that TCP port 22 is open and the SSH service is probably running on the port. Okay, and then you can see that the 13.66 seconds is the scan completed. Okay, so let's say if you want to ping the let's say if you want to check the target machine is active, so normally we use this the ping command, right? So the target machine is active, right? So let's say if you want to see 100 machine, so we can't do that, right? So we can't do that. So with the Nmap we can use a lot of techniques to find the active machines and then port, and then we can also use the script, so we will see this one by one. So we can also check this Nmap to check this port, the target machine. 160. Okay, let's check these target machines. Let's say, so this is a Windows machines, 192.168.0.128. so the scan, it takes 6.99 seconds to complete this. So now you guys can see all the port, the open port and then closed port is a 992. So the port and then protocol name, FTP, SSH, HTTP. Okay, so everything you can see. So if you want to scan the entire network, so we can use this this command in between. So with these commands we can we can scan entire network and then list the machines that responds to ping. So it just grab all the active machines. So it just ping command, so, right? So with this command, you just grab all the active machines in your network. So this output is a little messy, so let's clean this a bit by using a technique we learned this previous chapter. So let's see. So with this command, so -og, g is a grabbable file. So what we type here, so we already discussed in the previous chapter, correct? So let's enter. So now you guys can see here the IP address, the active IP address. So this command is very useful, so when you want to check these active machines in your network. Now let's see how to check these all packets send and receive from your machine to target machines, your remote machine. Okay, so for that, map -packet. So with these commands, we can trace all the packets sent and received from your machine to remote machine, right? The target machines. So now you guys can see all the send and receive message, the traffic. So and then protocol also you guys can see here. So I'm just using that Windows machine to show you in our test environment. So just clear. So determine service version. So we can now see how to use Nmap to determine the version of software the target is running. So this is particularly useful when doing vulnerability assessments, since you really want to know, for example, which email and DNS servers and versions are running, and having an accurate versions helps dramatically in determine which exploit your server is vulnerable to. So let's use this command nmap -s capital V and then 192. So on the target machine, with this command we can find a lot of information using a service scans, including service protocol, application name, and then versions numbers, a host name. So everything we can find. Let's enter and check this. Okay, the scan is completed. It takes 13.74 seconds to complete the scan. So now you guys can see the informations about your services on the open ports, including the service versions, the informations, and then operating systems, or what operating systems are using. So this is a cool features, Microsoft HTTP versions, IIS versions. So everything it shows with a single command -sv. Okay, so you can also use a manual option, Nmap. So you get more information here. You can see here it's a list of scan. So now you guys can see here's -o enable OS detections. So let's see now. Let's say if you want to identify operating system version on target machines, so you can use this command, so -o. So let's enter. So now you guys can see Windows 10. So the clear informations, and then the scan time takes 5.19 seconds. So OS details. Okay, so now let's see these commands. Nmap -a. So this command, the -a option, is it's bring all these combines OS detections, service version detections, scripting, scanning, and trace routes. Okay, let's enter and see this. So enter. So now you guys can see the scan is completed. So the protocol and then port number, open port, and then the version. You can see that Microsoft, Windows RPC, and then host name of the target host name, then product version, right? So you can also use this both command, I mean that both options in the same command. Let's say -a and then -O and then enter. So the -a option, as I said before, these options makes Nmap make an effort in identifying the target OS, services, and the versions. It also does trace route and applies NSE scripts to detect additional informations. This is a quite noisy scan as it's apply many different scans. The NSE scripts applied as the default settings of scripts. The -O make Nmap try decide what OS type it is. The process of OS detection can be quite complex but also quite simple. Okay, so now we can see the specify port ranges. By default, Nmap scans the common 1000 ports for each protocol. However, there are 65,535 ports that can be used for services, and sometimes you will want to scan very high ports or even individual ports. So to do this, we need to use the -p flags is used. So let's, for example, to scan only the port 22, we can use this command. So -p for port, the specific port is 22. Okay, so let's enter. I'm sorry, it's a typo. Okay, so now you guys can see here port 22 as such. So if you want to check the range of port, you can use the hyphen to specify the range. Let's see now. So Nmap -p. So let's say if you want to check the port number between 20 to 50, so you can use the hyphen and then 192.168.0.128. So now you guys can see. So it shows only between the 20 and 50. So all the open port it shows. Okay. So and then closed port is 29. So let's say if you want to exclude the certain port from scanning, you can use --exclude ports. Let's see now. Nmap exclude -ports. So let's say if you want to exclude 1-100 and then 192.128. Okay, So you can use this dash dash exclude dash ports, and then port the port number 1 to 100. And let's enter. So you can see here, so all the open port shows. So you can see here, so all the open port shows, and then there is no port shows because it's excluded already. So by default that Windows scans default port is 1000. Okay, so let's see now. I just want to scan specific ports, multiple specific ports. So for that you can use this, let's say 20, and then you have to use a comma 80 443. So I just want to check this 3 port only, right? So you can use this command and then enter. So you can see here the 443 is closed, and then 20 is closed, and then 80 is open. So if you want to scan all ports, there is an option. So you can just use the dash. So with this command nmap dash b dash and the target IP, so it scan all the ports, all the open ports, okay, on the target machine. So now, so let's say if you want to scan ports UDP and then TCP, the specified ports, so you can use this. S is stealthy, we'll talk about this later, and then U is UDP -P, small p, U for UDP, U53, comma, T for capital T, and then port 22 SSH, and then target. (128). So with this command we can check these specify port number UDP and TCP. So here U for UDP 53 and then TCP 22. So we can see that port number 22 is open and then UDP is closed. Okay. So you can also use this protocol name to find. So let's say HTTP, SSH, and then target machine IP address. 28. So you guys can see this open port and then close port for the specify IP protocol. Okay, so clear. Specify IP address range. So sometimes you need to scan not a single machine but a whole range of hosts. There are several ways to specify multiple machines. So we can see now the command how to check this particular port number. It says 22, and then the range of IP address. So we can just simply specify that multiple IP address or host name that you would like to scan in the command. So this is the Ubuntu machine's IP address, and then this is my Windows machine IP address, and the port number is shell SSH. Just enter. So now you guys can see here the SSH port is open that one host is up. Okay, so let's say we can see in the CIDR style addressing, so you can use the CIDR notation to specify range of IP address to scan. Okay, for example, so if you want to scan the whole network with the specific port number, so 192.168.0.128 and then 24, sorry for that. So with this command, it just scan all the network, it just scan all the hosts in your network. So you just check the port number P22, just check the port number 22 and then scan all the network. So you just check this port 22, all the hosts in your network. Just enter. It takes some time. Okay, it takes 9.45 seconds to complete this scan. So now you guys can see here the port 22. Okay, now we can see the port number. The port 22 is open on my Windows machine. So this is my Windows IP address, and then this is my open door machine, so where the port is open, and this is the current machines working on it, the port closed. Okay, scanning type. So now we can see different scanning types. Nmap is able to use various different techniques to identify active host, open ports, etc. So let's see this one by one. So which option is best for you guys for pen testing? Okay, before we see the scan types, so we need to understand that TCP three-way steps. So here you guys can see the host A and host B. Host A send a request, I want to talk to you, and then host B is agree, I want to talk to you too, and then host A agree. So let's say the first step is the client connects to the server. It sends segment with sync 1 and inform the server to initiate communications. The second steps, the server responds to the client request with a specified sync and acknowledge signal. Acknowledge 1+1 shows the segment response received, and sync 50 shows the sequence number starting with that segment. In the final steps, the client confirms the response from the server with acknowledge 50+1, and both establish a stable connections. Then the actual data start flowing between them. Okay, first we start with the TCP connections. So -st. So with this command, so before we start, we can just open the Wireshark. So let's start the connection now. Okay, let's enter. So we can see the three-way connection here. Okay, now you guys can see here the source IP address. This is my source IP address, and then this is my destination IP address of Windows machines. So source IP address send a request, and then you can see the sync, and then destination send a request, sync and acknowledge to source IP address, and then again the source send a request to destination IP address, acknowledge. So and the reset is done. The communications, the traffic reset already. So let's use the okay, so let's use this stealth command. We can use a S command. This is a best option for pen testing. So let's say, so before that I'm going to start the scan now. Okay, so now let's enter. So it's done now. So now we can see the captured here. So now you can see here there is no acknowledge of these machines. So it straight away sync and then reset the traffic. Okay, so this is a fast scanning, and then it's a best option for pen testings. So what is the difference is, so Nmap-S and capital S, this sends only a TCP sync packet and wait for a TCP acknowledge. If it is receive and acknowledge on the specific probe port, it means the port exists on the machine. This is a fast and pretty accurate. And then -S capital T, so this creates a full TCP connections with the host, full TCP handshake. So this is considered more accurate than sync scan, but slower and noisier. Okay, so this command, so we discussed earlier, -S P capital P. So this is for fast checking which hosts reply to ICMP ping packets. So it's useful if you are on the same subnet as the scan range and want a fast results about how many live hosts are connected. Okay, so scan timings. So these switches have to do with how fast or slow the scan will be performed. Let me show you that. So here you can see the timing and performance, -T, the flag -T 0. So is paranoid IDS evasion. So you can, this is examples, Nmap -D 0 192.168.1.1, so for example. So this is the slowest scan, so to avoid IDS. Okay, and then second one is also is avoid IDS, is sneaky, and then third one is 10 times slower than T3, and then fourth one is aggressive speed, fast and fairly accurate, so IDS can identify easily. The last one is very aggressive. It might sometimes miss open ports. So most of them, let's say if the red team normally use these first two, and then blue team uses these the last two. So let's check this, enter my target IP address. Let's use this 0. Okay, let's 1 and then 192.168.0.128. Let's see the time slot. So you can see here it takes about it takes almost 2 minutes, 3 minutes. The scan is still going on. You can see here 0.90% done. So if you enter, you can see that the timing. So let's try with a different command, because it takes time. So let's try with the 5. Let's enter. So you can see that how fast it is. Okay. So -hyphen packet. So this command help to trace the all the traffic between send and destinations. So we can also use this -t4 along with this. So you can see here the source and destinations and the protocol, and then how fast the scan is completed. Okay. Examples. So let's put together. We will see some useful examples, use case and techniques of using Nmap in practical penetration testings and security assessment engagement. Okay. So first we will see host discovery with well-known ports. Okay. $25, $80. Okay, this command performs a host discovery to identify active host using some well-known ports like 21 to 25, 80, 110, 135, etc. The output will be three files: Nmap, XML, Nmap with the file name host discovery. We assume the target network range is 192.168.0.0//24. So with this technique, if at least one of the mentioned TCP port is open on a target host in the IP range, then Nmap will know that the host is alive. Okay. So let's enter. Okay. So you can see the scan percentage, 73.74% is completed. So this technique is efficient if you are scanning a large public IP range. And sometimes you know that there is a firewall in front and that only limited ports are visible because of the firewall. So the mentioned port here most probably be visible on public host. Okay, the scan is completed now. So you guys can see the time it took 947.42 seconds. So someone host is up, the active host, and then port number what we mentioned here. So you guys can see all the port. So and then 8080 is open HTTP proxy, and then so here -p yes 21, the port number is for port number, and then -t4 for the timing and performance as we discussed earlier, and then -oa is a type, the file type. Let me show you. So you can see here the file type what we are using, -oa. So which means so it will save in three format, all the three format, like text and then grabbable file and then XML. So we are using this because if you use this -on, so it will save as a text format. So I just want to use this one, so this is very handy. Okay, so -ox is for XML format. Okay, so let's see now the file. Okay, here. So as you guys can see here, the host discovery.nmap, XML, and then Nmap formats. So that the file saved successfully in three different formats. So now the second examples, we can see host discovery with ICMP. So this is a variation of the previous examples whereby Nmap sends ICMP packets to discover active host. So we can use these commands PE and OA 192.168.0.024. So this technique is effective if you are scanning from the same large subnet as the target range and there is no firewall in front of the host, and also ICMP ping is not blocked from the host. The end result is the same as the previous examples. Active host will be recorded in file name called host discovery ICMP with the serial port marked as open for each IP address. Let's enter and then password. So let's wait for some time. So the scan is completed, 4 hosts up, and then the timestamp 21.71 seconds, and then you can see that IP address and then the protocol and then port, open port. Okay, so the PE, the dash PE, capital PE is just send ICMP echo packet to discover host. Okay, and then -OA is as I said before, store in 3 format: XML, Nmap, and then Nmap. So let's see now. So you guys can see here it's stored in 3 different formats. So in the previous example you guys can see. Okay, let's move on the next example. So now we have the file already, right? So let me open the file, any file, okay, XML or Nmap. You guys can see here. So the host discovery.nmap, the file contain the host with the open ports. Okay, so we can filter all IP address in the file that have at least one open port and create a clean list of active host IPs. So for that I'm going to use awk command for the task. Okay, so for that let's use this sudo awk, and then you can use the comma. So open is open port, and then print of the second field. So okay, so we can run the awk command. So we can use the awk to search for open ports in that file, that then redirect the output file to another file called activehost.txt. So the file will only contain a list of IP address that correspond to active host in the target network. So let's enter now. So the file is created, you guys can see here. So let's open the file and check active host. So you guys can see, so that light tree host, the active host. Okay, so now we can move on another example, one more useful example. So we can now perform full port scan using the active host list. So we have the active host list, right? So now after identifying the active host in the whole subnet, we can perform full port scan with the Nmap toward this host only. So by doing this, we manage to be more efficient and perform scans faster than doing full port scan on the whole target range from the beginning. So we can now use this command, and capital P and then S, and capital A. So let's break down the parameters, what these parameters doing. First, dash P dash, this parameter scans all ports in your network. Okay, capital PN, it won't perform host discovery repeatedly. Okay, and then hyphen small s and capital S is a perform TCP sync scan. Okay, like a stealthy scan, as I explained before, as discussed before. And then dash capital A, so this combines OS detections, service version detections, and script scanning and trace route. Okay, and then hyphen dash hyphen capital T5, as discussed earlier, so it's pretty fast and accurate scanning. You can also use hyphen T4, okay, but this is a bit faster. Okay, hyphen small I and capital L and then active host.txt. So this scan the IPs contains in the file active host.txt, and then hyphen OA, as discussed, as said before, export the result in file full scan, the 3 formats. Okay, so we can use sudo. Okay, so let's wait for scan complete. So it takes some time. So if you guys want to download the Nmap source code, so you guys can get the source code from GitHub, the Nmap source code. So the license gives you the right to run, study, share, and modify the software. Okay. Okay, the scan is completed now. So you guys can see here. So this is really a good command. Okay. Now we can see this. Now we can see the full scan. So the output is stored, recorded in the scan. You can see here the full scan.xml, full scan G Nmap, right? So you guys can see. So let's open full scan tab. Okay. So it's stored in this XML format and G Nmap. Okay. NSC scripts. You know, the Nmap is not only for a port scanner. Actually, there are hundreds of included scripts that you can use with Nmap to scan for all sort of vulnerabilities, brute force login to services, check for well-known weaknesses on services, etc. So let's let me show you the examples. This is the example formats. You guys can use it on your own. Okay, so if you want to run the specific script toward the target, so you can use these formats and then run the script with the specified arguments. So you can use these formats, and then update script database, you guys can use these formats. So let's try with this command, the practical commands. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to save the API key. Okay, so this API key you have to create in the InfoDB. It's a free actually, so you guys can create the account to get the API. Okay, so I have already created that API key, so I got this key. So now we can use the target IP address. So let's say I just want to check the public IP address, so the location of the IP address. Okay, let me show you this. So let's say this IP address I want to check. Okay, so what is my IP address? So normally you guys can check this what is my IP address. So I just want to check the location of this public IP address using the Nmap. Okay, so it's 194. So I'm going to enter this 194.36.108.91. So this is a target IP address, and then this is a API key that you have to create. Okay. So let's enter. So now we can see this the scanning started. So now we can see the location of the IP address. Okay, let's wait for some time. So 42% is completed. So the scan is completed. It takes 25.75 seconds to complete the scan. So you guys can see here the same locations what we search using this what is my IP address. Let me show you again. So now you guys can see the same region and country, everything. Okay, so this is also a very useful command, the script based NSE. Okay, so if you want to see the another IP address, let me show you this another IP. So let's check this France IP address. This is location Paris, and then IP address, the France IP address. Okay, so I'm going to replace this IP address. So 51.158.116.68. So let's wait. Okay, so now you guys can see the location is Paris and then France, and then open port. Okay, so you guys can also use the other plugin to identify the physical location of IP address. Okay, so the name is a Geo plugin. It's also one of the famous. So Nmap, plugin. Okay, so the target IP address. So let's say in my case I'm going to use the same IP address, 51.158. Okay, .116.168. So enter. So the target IP address is the same one what I used before. So this is the same result. Is a simple plugin. It's a Geo plugin. It's give the same results. Location Paris, France, everything. So this is very useful when you're doing a pen testing. So we can see one more useful examples. So let's see how to check if your website is protected by WAF. A WAF is a web application firewall, can be a software or hardware device in front of the web server to protect from HTTP web application attacks. So let's see now. So I'm going to use the command. So this command uses a script to detect if the target website is protected by web application firewall, WAF in short. So the HTTP-WAF Nmap-detect script uses two arguments to try the tool's built-in attack vectors for evaluating if the target web domain is protected by a WAF. Okay, so let's enter. So it takes time. So you can see here the percentage of scan 50.00. So the scan is completed now. So you can see the WAF detected. Okay, you can also try same any website. Let's say Amazon.com. Okay, so the scan is completed. So as usual, so the website is protected by WAF, Web Application Firewall, and then IDS, IPS. So last but not least, let's see now how to find well-known vulnerabilities related to an open port. So let's say you have scanned a target host and found several open services ports running on the host. With Nmap, you can query publicly vulnerabilities database to find out if there are any known published vulnerabilities related to the service running. Okay, first we can just download the Nmap-vulners script from the Git app. So for that, okay, so let's open the script. So now we can just download the clone HTTP. So we can, okay, let's start download. Enter. Is now cloning. So now we can see that file. So the script is downloaded here. So you guys can see here nmap.vulners. So since the script needs to know the exact version of the remote scanned services, you must use the -s and then capital V key when using the vulners script. Map small p and then 80 -script dot nmap.org. So this is a testing purpose, so I'm using this scanme.nmap.org. okay, so let's enter. So the output is completed. So now you guys can see here, so we have scanned port 80 using the -s vswitch and use the vulners scripts to use the script-vulners scripts to get all known public vulnerabilities of the specific services, the Apache HTTP 2.4.7. okay, so that's it guys. Okay, that's it guys for this video. So next video we will see chapter 3, information gathering. We will see more topics like DNS enumerations, and then Python and Perl scripts stuffs. We will see more stuffs in next video. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please subscribe my channel, press the bell button to get more update, share the video to your friends guys. See you, bye bye.